If you want some, come get some.
This is such good
I am the visionary. I am a revolutionary. I am Seth.
I can't give the belt to Dusty, but I can give it to my mama. I can give it to my mommy.
Acknowledge me.
Lately, he just hasn't been very oozy.
What's up, everybody? Cheers and welcome to Rasslin with Ryan. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm good. No, just relaxing.
We're in a secret location right now.
Yes, very
Remote
great.
location. The sun is very, very bright, as you can tell. It is very bright.
But, we still have to record to,
Exactly.
make content for you guys because it's all about you.
It's all about you, and it's all about, actually joking, it's all about me because I went 5-0. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. 5-0 my predictions last night for Survivor Series War Games. Ryan, what did you do? What did you do in your predictions?
I went 3-2.
3-2, sad.
Hey, that's still above
Sad.
500. Still above 500.
Still above 500, sad. Not like me going 5-0. But how did you guys think of War Games last night? I thought it was if I had to rate it between numbers 1 and 10, I'd give it probably 6.5.
I'd give it a 7 out of 10.
I
I thought that it could have been better, but I don't think it was bad. I think both of the War Games matches were the highlights of the show, and the Intercontinental Championship triple threat match.
Yeah, that one, kind of saved the show from being a boring show. But yeah, I think both War Games matches, I think the men's was better than the women's. The women's was a little, I think it always comes down to a little clunkiness with the women.
Yeah.
But they had a pretty good, decent match. I think a lot of the spots that they did, they're good. They carried them through. There was some excitement in that match between which way Tiffany Stratton was going to go, whether she was going to cash in. Definitely some excitement with that. With the spot between Io Sky coming off her, I think it's like an annual thing. Kofi Kingston in the Royal Rumble used to have this thing where he used to get eliminated, but not really. He would figure out a clever way to
save himself and get back into the match. Yeah.
Well, Io Sky now has the her War Games trash can spot.
Trash can spot. It's always a highlight. Always gets a pop out of the crowd.
Exactly.
And this year is a little different because she had a customly painted trash can.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. What were your thoughts about that match?
Yeah, I thought the match was solid. I mean, I thought it could have been better. I thought it was kind of slow throughout up until like kind of the end. I definitely think Io and Tiffany Stratton were like the MVPs of the Women's War Games match.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. Everybody just looked kind of like off their game a little bit.
I think specifically with the women, they kind of are worried about getting their spots in, Um, they're worried about, okay, like, what do I have to bring into the match? Let's look under the ring. All right, like what's available? All right, like what spots are we doing? I think they're too focused on their spots and trying to memorize like the cue and the orders of the match that they're not really freed up to like really make themselves as loose as possible. And if they were to do that, I think they would have, the match would have been better. I think they're just so caught up in like, all right, what spot were you at? What item are we using per se under the ring? Yeah.
Yeah, and we know like the whole center of the match was the ongoing Liv and Rhea rivalry. We saw Mommy pick up the victory.
Let's talk about her mask. I think that thing looked badass.
Oh yeah, that match was so sick. I was telling you, I was like, wait, is that her face mask? And you're like, yeah. I was like, dude, that looks so sick, so badass. It really added like another element to like the ongoing story between Liv and Rhea.
It had the Undertaker, a Phantom of the Opera vibes. It also looked to me like she looked like a rhino out there with that mask. But she looked even cooler when she took the mask off in the press conference with the black makeup.
Yeah, no, it was a nice touch, and of course the baby faces came out on top.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, baby faces came out on top, which I predicted. I think it was very easy, very predictable to predict that. But altogether, I would, if I had to give a ranking for that match, I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I gave it a 7 out of 10 just because of the spots for Mio and Tiffany Stratton alone.
yeah,
So
exactly. Then you had the triple threat: Ron Breaker, Ludwig Kaiser, and
and Sheamus,
Sheamus for the
banger after banger after banger.
after Burger. Yeah, this triple threat match was okay. What do you think?
I thought it was solid. I thought it was a good showing for all three men. And Braun Breaker, man, that dude just gets better and better like every week.
No
He
doubt
he
he's gonna
has
be.
he has the best spear in the game. In my opinion, I think he has the best spear in the game.
No doubt Braun Breaker is going to be a future WrestleMania main eventer. He's on that trajectory. You can just
Future
see it.
world champion.
Future world champion. It may not be this WrestleMania coming up, but definitely in 2026, probably at the end of 2025, you may see him in a main event spot getting the world title. Ludwig Kaiser, I think, opened up a lot of eyes on what he can do. A lot of people have been praising him, and for him, it's just he's been very very injury prone up until this point, and so him having the ability to show out what he can do, it's good on what he can show the fans, and and backstage, he what he can show the management, and keeping him at the I guess like, so yeah, the main event you have the upper mid card. So guess keeping him at that upper mid card level and not letting him go down, that's gonna go well for him having these kind of matches.
Oh yeah. Ludwig definitely showed out, and then Sheamus, of course.
Yeah.
All he does is put out bangers.
Sheamus is gonna get the
So
Intercontinental title at
yeah,
some point.
your prediction is that he wins it at
Yes,
WrestleMania.
I think he wins it at WrestleMania versus Braun Breaker. Well, we'll see on that. Then you had the United States Championship, Shinsuke Nakamura versus
L.A. Knight. Yeah. And kind of a shocker, Shinsuke won the U.S. title.
He had to. He had to. You can't put Shinsuke Nakamura into another program in which he's going to lose badly. Like, okay, so you look at the things that he was doing versus Cody Rhodes. He lost every single match of that program. Every single, wake your ass up. He lost.
This guy. Yeah, no, he lost every match to Cody Rhodes. He lost every match to Seth Rollins. And that's a feud that many people thought, Shinsuke was going to actually win the title, the world title.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, exactly. So I think it was definitely the right move to put the title on Shinsuke Nakamura because you need to have some sort of credibility going forward. If he were to lost this match, all credibility would have been lost with Nakamura, and I think you can easily get Ellen Knight the title back at Saturday Night's Main Event or the Royal Rumble.
yeah. I thought this match was kind of like, it fell flat for me.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Like, I expected better just because I know LA Knight's like really like stepped up his game lately and Shinsuke's just created in the ring. But I don't know, this match just felt like really flat to me. The crowd definitely did not seem to be into it. So,
Yeah, no, definitely. Speaking of the crowd definitely didn't. They weren't
yeah.
into the crowd. I mean, they weren't into the event a lot, really.
Yeah, I think it shows that Vancouver isn't like the best city to go to in Canada. I think that's Montreal or Toronto.
Montreal, Toronto. Those are the towns that people talk about when even where Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are from. Oh yeah, Montreal. That's right.
Yeah,
Duh. Ooh, duh. Um, but those two towns, that's Canada. Those are two really great Canadian towns. Calgary as well. They were just there a few months ago when Bret Hart was on Raw. But Vancouver, yeah, sorry to tell you, Vancouver, you just didn't cut it last night.
yeah, you're not
Compared to what we saw at the beginning of the year when WWE went to France, WWE, where else did they go? They went to France. I know that. I feel like they went somewhere else, and like it was like the crowds were just amazing.
Saudi Arabia crowd is actually pretty good.
They've been getting better. Yeah,
Mm, they went to Canada for Money in the Bank.
they did go to Canada for the night. I think those two. I think it was in Canada, but Paris, France, Canada, those two towns. I mean, look,
Australia.
Australia. Yeah, that is it. I feel like it is because WWE hadn't been there for a while, and the fans were amped. But also, WWE doesn't go to Vancouver a lot either, so you have no excuse, Vancouverans. I don't know what you call yourselves,
Canadians.
Vancouverans. um, what are we talking about?
The U.S. Championship match.
U.S. Championship. All right, so yeah, that match was kind of a dud, but you know what? I'm predicting that LA Knight will get his title back at Saturday Night's Main Event or the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Then you had was was that
The
it?
World Heavyweight
Oh yeah,
Championship match
the
with
world title
Gunther
match.
and
Yeah.
Damon Priest, which I thought was a solid match
Hmm.
until Finn Balor showed up.
Yeah.
Because it feels like now they're just going backwards because it looked like, Damien was going to finally, like, move on and be more, like, focus more on, like, being, like, a title contender. And now it just seems like they're going backwards.
Yeah, because they had moved on from it. They did have a better match than what they did have at SummerSlam.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
I think you can tell that these two guys have a little bit more chemistry. I feel like they're a lot more relaxed in the ring against each other. Um, I knew that Gunther was going to retain either way, and I think it's this thing is between Balor and Priest. It's just filler between now and WrestleMania, really. Um, yeah,
And then Gunther retained.
yeah,
So, but it was a solid match. You know, couple scary looking
hmm
spots.
exactly,
But, yeah, overall, it was a solid match. Just terrible ending.
exactly. Dude, you're shaking the camera.
Oh yeah, but yeah, terrible, terrible ending. But overall, it was a solid match. And
Yeah,
now we go into the main event.
the main event. Look, I up until this point, I would say that Survivor Series was pretty mid. You know. But this pay per view, this main event, I think it delivered. You know, on all ends, all the guys in the match, on both sides, they all delivered their abilities into what they can deliver into this match. All members of this match looked really good, I would say, and they put on a banger of a main event.
Yeah.
I think
And then they showed the tension between Punk and Roman. Like can they trust each other?
mhm, exactly that was a big part.
And the one interesting thing was when Roman came out, he didn't come out with his wise man.
That's true. And we were thinking like, oh, something's gonna play into this, because Paul Heyman didn't come out with either guy. So there was a lot of storytelling in this match in itself. Not just so you had Solo Sikoa kind of drawing the playbook of who was going to go out in what order, and then you had Roman kind of following the same thing when he put his arm out to block CM Punk and to let Sami Zayn go. That was like, ooh,
And basically Roman and Punk were just like giving a death stare to each other.
hmm
And then when it came time for the next man, Roman was gonna come out, but he was too slow, so Punk basically like shoulder tapped him and ran, and you just see Roman's face.
exactly.
So
Yeah, no, yeah, it was definitely something that I feel like really delivered on all ends. The
yeah,
action in itself was really really good.
the
You had
spots were
yeah,
great. Jimmy Uso doing the Uso splash from the top of the cage. He broke his
exactly.
toe.
Yeah.
Jimmy Uso did break his toe
Yeah,
from that spot. Bronson Reed doing a tsunami. It looked like he shattered his ankle.
exactly.
Like so, because I guess they said Bronson Reed had to be helped to the back.
hmm
So, and then we talked about another interesting thing is that Jey Uso got the last entrance.
Jey Uso got the last entrance, and I think that was really smart on their part because if you would have asked me who would have come out last, I would say either CM Punk or Roman Reigns, the two top names. But they gave it to Jey Uso, and I think that kind of gives them the credibility to Jey Uso, and also like, hey, look, this has kind of been like your storyline. This has pretty much been all about you so far. If you think about it, here's your spot. He had the match last night on or sorry, 2 nights ago on SmackDown, and then he had the entrance on last night's pay per view, and I think it was smart for WWE to do that because it acknowledges Jey Uso's part in the
Yeah,
storyline.
and then it also shows that that they're all equals now. That Roman's not, you know, the leader like he once was. But then also, I think another thing that played into it was, he gets the crowd always hyped up with his entrance.
Right.
With the yeet,
Exactly.
So I think that's the most hyped the crowd was like the entire night.
Exactly. Yeah, no, they were definitely hyped. And yeah, now so you have this great main event fold out. The ending was really great where Jimmy Uso comes off the top of the cage. Uso splashes was it Jacob Fatu?
Yeah, Jacob Fatu.
Jacob Fatu, who also had a great showing during this pay-per-view. All of them did really. But he got through the table, broke his toe. Um, and then you have the ending where Solo Sikoa doesn't come back to the family, and then he gets his ass beat with going through all of their
Yeah,
finishers.
but well, one thing I noticed is Solo hesitated to even give Roman the spike.
Hmm.
There was slight hesitation there,
Exactly.
and then another cool spot because Paul Heyman did come out later and he did like basically beg and plead to Roman and Punk like just for one night we need to be united. And another interesting thing is when Bronson Reed was attempting the tsunami through the table on Roman, CM Punk of all people moved Roman from the table.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely some partnership in there, and then it doesn't take away the tension between the two, but also gives them kind of like, okay, here's my respect towards you. So some definitely some key elements coming out of Survivor Series. And what do you think is going to be next after this?
No, it's going to be interesting to see, like special. We're learning a lot more on Raw, SmackDown, especially I know with the new Bloodline, that's where it's going to be the most interesting because we're going to see what happens, where the direction is now. If Solo is going to continue to be the leader or if he's going to get booted. And
Hmm.
then, because I know eventually we're going to get Roman versus Solo for the Ula Fala.
Yeah, you definitely probably on Saturday Night's Main Event.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. Some great action coming out of Survivor Series. And yeah, I think it was a great main event. They were kind of stalling around towards the end a little bit. We all kind of thought, is The Rock coming out? Is he not? But no Rock at the end.
which I think was fine, because it's like, again, he did say he's kind of going after Cody.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
but there's also the factor of like Roman teamed with Cody, and
Hmm.
The Rock did say like, "Oh, how does the final boss feel about Roman teaming up with Cody Rhodes?"
Exactly.
So, I think we see The Rock on the Raw debut on Netflix,
Yeah, you
and
definitely see him.
that's when the story will really start to pick up.
Exactly. And I saw a lot of fans on TikTok last night and Twitter. Oh, does this mean The Rock's not coming back for WrestleMania because he's not on tour? No, guys, relax. All right, The Rock's coming back. I guarantee you The Rock will be there. Okay, just because he wasn't on Survivor Series doesn't mean he's not being at WrestleMania. He was on Bad Blood. Okay, so he's definitely still, gonna be around, even though they haven't acknowledged him being on Bad Blood, which is kind of dumb. But that's another issue. But The Rock's gonna be there. You know, yeah. Any final thoughts for Survivor Series?
Yeah, I thought Survivor Series was decent. Like it definitely wasn't the best show. It had its moments, it had its highlights, but overall, I think Survivor Series was like it was an okay show. It was a decent show, not the best one of the year.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, cool, cool, cool. All right. Well, that is it for our Survivor Series recap. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. From all of us here at Lace Sports, I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. I know it's pretty
Yes,
bright out here.
yes,
Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. I'm up here at Ryan's family's cabin, which I'm not going to tell you where it is, but it's a secret location, but it's beautiful up here.
oh yeah,
Um,
it is. So
yeah. Thank you for Ryan and his family for allowing me to be here and us recording. It's always great. Any final thoughts, Ryan?
I mean, how much time do we have left?
I don't know. You can, how much do you want to?
Well, because I know because we have the New Day's 10-year anniversary tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, we have the
A
New
big
Day's
time Monday
10-year.
Night Raw.
And so a lot of questions going into is Xavier Woods going to turn heel, or is Kofi going to turn heel, or is Big E going to come to save the day? So it'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow.
It will be interesting to see. I think it's not going to be one big happy family. I think Xavier, they're not just going to hug it out at the end and forget about everything. not last night's last week's promo against each other, Kofi and Xavier. Oof, that was a war of words right there. They were slinging gunshots out
Yeah,
there against each other.
Xavier Woods is like you won the WWE title. Like, what did you do? You pissed it away in 6 seconds to Brock Lesnar.
And Kofi telling Xavier that the reason why you haven't been champion like me and E
It's
is
because
because
you're
you're
not
not good
good
enough.
enough.
Those are words right there. Those are
Those are fighting
words.
words. Yeah.
They're
So
not just gonna make it up and kiss and everything is great just because Big E might come back, which probably I'm telling you he isn't gonna be there. Um, something's going down tomorrow.
yeah. So make sure you tune in to Raw because I think tomorrow's Raw is definitely a must watch, a must see.
Exactly.
So
I'm I'm predicting that they're gonna get the main event spot for this program.
yeah, it's gonna be big. So
Hmm.
something's gonna go down, and it's a little unpredictable because it could go one of a few ways.
Hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see. Um, I don't know how much time we have left, but I know we were talking about like some of our favorite New Day matches. I'm just gonna say the one, and I talked to you about this I think yesterday. That my favorite match from the New Day was the New Day versus the Usos inside Hell in a Cell.
Hmm.
But I think that was what Hell in a Cell like 2018,
Yep. Hmm.
and that match was just that match was a classic.
Yeah.
The New Day and the Usos, I know they wrestled a lot, but they never disappointed. Every time they went up against each other, you knew it was going to be a classic.
Yeah. No, definitely. Those two teams right there, they had between 2017 and 2018, even 19, I believe, they all had classic matches. If you want to talk about Sheamus's burger after burger after burger,
You got to look at the New Day and the Usos.
exactly, banger after banger.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. Um, from their tenure, I mean, look, they've had they've pretty much been up against every tag team that there is has been in WWE. Um, to me, what just stands out more than their matches is just their charisma. All the goofy segments, the bootios, and
Studios. They make sure you ain't booty.
yeah, exactly. In the entrances with the trumpet. I think the trumpet had a name at some point.
Aw, Francesca.
Francesca, and then Francesca 2 and
Yeah.
Francesca 3. Um,
Don't you dare be sour. Clap for your world famous two-time champs. Well, not two-time champs. They're like
I don't know how many times,
how
five
many
times.
times? Five, whatever it
Yeah.
is. The New Day.
That's gonna get a huge reaction on Monday night when I think you're gonna have Xavier and Kofi ready to like slug it out in the ring.
And then Big E's gonna
And
come
then
out.
you're gonna hear on the microphone on the PA system, oh yeah. That's gonna be good.
So yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting segment. I'm looking forward to it because it's going to be curious to see how they play this story and like if they're going to do it where like maybe the New Day does come back together and maybe Big E was just like the missing piece, or if it's like no, are we finally seeing the New Day like come to its end?
Hmm.
Because I told you one match I really want to see is I really want to see the New Day triple threat,
Exactly.
Kofi versus Xavier versus Big E. Man, who
That's
knows? Maybe it'll happen at WrestleMania.
who knows. It's possible. It's possible. But yeah, yeah. I think the New Day, great tag team, definitely Hall of Fame worthy.
Yeah, one of the greatest tag teams to ever do it. One of the most decorated tag teams to ever
Plus
do it.
two world champions out of the three. Kofi Mania was awesome. Big E. I wanted Big E to have a better run with the title. I feel like his run with the title was kind of cut short because they wanted to shoehorn Brock and Roman Reigns into the main event of WrestleMania in Dallas. And I don't even know if Big E had a match at WrestleMania that year. Or was he already hurt? I think he was already hurt because Big E had lost the WWE title at day one
Hmm.
against Brock. And then I'm not sure if he had a rematch or what was the case. But after Big E lost the title, it was just like I think he was tag teaming. And that's when the spot happened with was it Ridge Holland?
Rich Holland, yeah,
And I don't even think he made it to WrestleMania.
yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, which is really, really sad to think about. Another prediction of mine may end with this. I think Big E is announcing his comeback
Oh yeah,
tomorrow night.
yeah, I'm with you. I think he's announcing his comeback because I mean, he looks good. He says everything's been positive. I know there's been like he kind of hasn't exactly said if he's going to retire or
Mm-hmm.
come back, but I'm with you. I think Big E is going to come back.
I think
I don't
that
know if
too.
he's going to stick around for like much longer, or maybe this is going to be like the last like run
Mm-hmm.
for him. But I definitely do think Big E's going to wrestle again.
I think so too. All right, guys, that'll do it for tonight. This is Wrestling with Ryan.
Yeet!
Yeet.
It's just me. Oos.
It is your show. But until next time, we'll see you guys.